Okay, so right now I'm going to put it low.
Okay.
Hey everyone, we were just having a little technical difficulties, so we are a little late. We totally apologize. Okay, we are going to go live on radio here in just a few seconds. Okay, 3, 2, 1 now.
All right, can you hear okay, Zach?
I can
All
hear you
right,
guys.
welcome to San Antonio Life Stuff Show here on Gen X 99.1, and we're Brenda and Linda here with you.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Every week, Tuesday, from 12 to 1 Central Standard Time. And so
Woo.
we are bringing you life stuff from San Antonio and the people who are making a difference, like our guest today, Zachary.
Hey Zach,
S-
how you doing?
You're on track.
Zachary SAPodcastNetwork.
There you go.
Go
There
ahead
you
and repeat that, Zach.
That's going to be Zachary SAPodcastNetwork. And it's
There you
okay. I won't hold you accountable for that. Growing up, I had a lot of substitutes have trouble with that during school. So.
And Zachary is the founder of the San Antonio Podcast
Nice.
Network, and he's also a financial professional. So we're going to be talking
Wonderful.
about that here in just a minute. And I'm Linda Pearson, and I'm the founder of the Scooby Van of San Antonio. And here is Brenda.
Hey everybody, so my name is Brenda Onsguys, so the blogger behind savingourway.com. Excited that you guys are here with us today.
So we would like to first of all start off with thanking our sponsors. So Gen X 99.1, the station.
Thank you,
And then
thank you.
also our generous sponsor, Center of Advanced Wellness, which is actually where we are, the studio is located, which is at 8723 Botts Lane in San Antonio. And we are behind the airport at 410 and Broadway. And what the center is, the Center of Advanced Wellness, is a full service center, medical clinic and med spa for all your health and beauty needs. And so they offer telehealth, women's health, wound care, all kinds of testing, COVID testing. If you drive by, you will see all kinds of people lined up around the building getting COVID testing and vaccines. So that's wonderful with the vaccines. And then, and the best part is they have a membership plan. So starting for an individual at $30 a month, if you just pay that, then each of your visits is only $10. And so
I
that's
love that. I
yeah.
love that they offer this.
for folks who don't have insurance.
That's right, that's
so
right.
It's a wonderful plan.
And you know what, Linda, like you were saying, individually they have a $30 plan, but if you guys have a family, you're looking at $150.
Which is very
very affordable. And again, when you come in, it's only $10 to be seen. So this is wonderful. This location here is at 8723 Botts Lane. Guys, their number, I'm going to say this nice and slow, is 210-999-5523. You guys could always go to centerofadvancedwellness.com so that you guys can see all of the health and beauty needs that they put out there. They have a full med spa. Isn't that true, Linda?
yes, which I can't wait to try out.
Yes, yes.
And so we would like to thank our other sponsor, My Travel Vibes Apparel.
Hey, Rudy. Thanks
For
so
the
much.
logo merch. My kids are jealous because I get cool shirts.
Yes.
And then live from the South Side, April Monterosa.
Hey, bro.
Thank
Yahoo.
you, April. And our newest sponsor is Pogo Pass, which we're really excited about, and we'll be telling you about that in just a second.
Sounds good. Sounds
which
good.
is, Which is the second right now, because I'm going to give you a quick update of what's going on in
Girl,
my
tell us.
Scooby world. So in the Scooby world right now, we are signing schools up for Scooby Van visits.
Okay.
So we can give out books, because that's where we give out a lot of books. And then we are also signing schools up for Pogo Pass fundraisers, which is fantastic. Especially right now during COVID, it's a touchless fundraiser. Nobody touches anything. You just, if you sign up now, actually, you get a big banner with the Scooby Van on it and Pogo Pass and your school's name, and anybody can just drive by and type in Pogo Pass, type in your school name. Obviously, anybody who's at the school wants to buy a Pogo Pass as well. And then the school gets $5, and then the Scooby Van is also supported through that. So that's
You know what, that
fantastic.
really is that, to me, it's just, it's super easy, and it's definitely a price. It's definitely a pass that is one pass, good for 1 year for,
$1,000 worth
wait,
of
one
entry
pass,
fees.
one price, 1 year.
Right.
So that's what I was loving. I know that they have their slogan, so that was their slogan I was trying to think about. Yeah, the thing is, it's $39.98, and it's $1,000 pass. So like me and Linda have talked about many times, is one of the venues that are on this Pogo Pass is Splash Town. Splash Town is almost, what is it, Linda, $40?
40 something, right?
So it's almost $40, guys, when you go in. Of course, that is with taxes. Splashtown is also on your Pogo Pass. So for the same price of the Pogo Pass, it's worth $1,000, which is $39.98. It's the same price getting in just one trip. Do you want to go into one trip of Splashtown and then, hey, you had a good time, you went home, and now you got to pay for other venues? Or pay for your Pogo Pass at $39.98. Not only do you get to go to Splashtown, but you have 24 other venues, right, that you can get into.
In San Antonio, Austin, and Waco. This pass is called the South Central Pass.
Yes, South Central Pass.
It's not just San Antonio, it's Austin and Waco as well. And so one of the things that we're going to be doing in the Scooby Van, I personally have had a Pogo Pass for a while. And so, you know, when we connected with this, it was just a wonderful thing because the two brands fit together nicely. So the Scooby Van's going to be going to the zoo because the zoo is one of the things on the Pogo Pass.
Well, if you go to the zoo, I'm going to the zoo.
We're going to the zoo.
Zach, you going to the zoo?
Gonna have to plan a trip.
Gotta use my Pogo Pass. I don't know that the Scooby Van will be driving into the zoo unless they call me, hint, hint, and want me to come into the zoo. But anyway,
zoo officials over here.
We will be at the zoo taking pictures and doing some lives and having some fun there here pretty soon. And then I just wanted to give this just happened this morning. I wanted to give a quick shout out to National Public Radio.
Nice.
For telling everybody about what we're doing at the Rolling Oaks Mall every Saturday from 12 to 2 at the Rolling Oaks Mall. We are collecting books, and people are starting to bring more and more books. This past weekend we collected, 2 weekends ago, we collected 250 250 So that was
nice.
Wonderful, yes. And so
people are so giving.
Yes, and we've been collecting books at the Rolling Oaks Mall, but now we're also there with our Pogo Pass game and our free prizes and all this fun stuff.
Having all kinds of fun.
And we're giving away free Pogo Passes, and that's what National Public Radio shared. So we're giving away 2 free Pogo Passes.
Thank you so
to
much.
different people, $1,000 value each for a year's worth of fun. And
that sounds good.
And so it was nice because they gave the shout out during rush hour, and a friend had texted me and said, "Hey, I just heard this on the radio." And so
I love that.
when I think about stuff going on at rush hour, the good thing about that is there's thousands of people listening.
Right.
And then that reminds me of podcasting, which is what Zachary's going to talk to us about. And you know, a lot of times people say, and he'll probably tell you this, but they'll say, "Well, I don't have time to listen to podcasts." But if you think about how many thousands of people are stuck in rush hour traffic,
we gotta get our minds off of like being upset. So yeah,
there's plenty of time to listen to podcasts. So podcasts, I think, are the kind of the up and coming thing. So that's one of the reasons we have Zachary here. So Brenda, quick update. What's going on in your world?
Okay, update is super excited to do this. Work with her. Okay, work with Linda. I am also going out with her every single weekend. We end up just having a blast, and we are able to connect with just so many people, you know, especially children. Of course, we are set up to do giveaways to children. Anybody that is passing through the table, we're like, hey, free toys, free giveaway, come here. So no, we're having a really great time. We're having great response when it comes to you know, people coming in and donating. We had several people come in this weekend to say, hey, you know what, I love what you guys are doing here. I brought you these 20 books, but I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna look at what else I have, and you better believe, like, I love, Linda, what you are doing. This is what they're telling Linda. I love, Linda, what you are doing, you know, taking your time, coming in every week, getting these donations, you know, of the books, and then going back out to your community and giving them out where it is needed. So I love that I have jumped on board with you. I mean, it's been nothing but an amazing ride with you. You know, having you as my host, you know, coming in with us every week, and just great things that we have, all kinds of possibilities. We have all kinds of things that is coming up, especially going into the new year. So when it comes to, you know, this part of my life, because, you know, if you know me, I'm all over the place, but I'm having all kinds of fun just working directly with you.
Yay.
So,
well, fasten your seatbelt.
Oh my God, it's like fasten your seatbelts.
So last year we collected 12,000 books and gave away 6,000 within the first 8 months.
Wow.
And then I had to have a break, so I took a break. And then the Scooby Van got wrecked. But anyway,
yes.
This coming year, the goal, I know it's kind of a reach goal, but the goal is to give away 10,000 books.
Okay.
So that's a lot of schools, and that's a lot of kids, but every kid deserves to have a book. So before the summer hits
You're
next
just
summer,
awesome, girl.
we just want to make sure those kids have books.
Okay, well, I'm by your side, so this is happening.
All right.
This
all right.
is happening.
Sounds good.
The other thing I want to just say really quickly is Jennifer King and I, guys, we are preparing now a new type of coupon class. And what this is we're going to be talking about money saving apps. My goal is to get Zachary on it. Okay, were you ready for that one? Zach's like, what? Why is she bringing up my name? I'm going to have Zach save, I'm telling you now. But anyway, guys, you want to definitely subscribe to my website at savingourway.com, on Jennifer King's at jennifersaves.com. And, this is where you're going to see the upcoming things that we are doing. Definitely, you will know about it because we're going to try our best, guys, especially on social media, to let you guys know when this class is coming. But it's an absolute free class. It's going to be an online class. It's going to be a phenomenal class. You guys have been asking for it, and we are ready to deliver. So this is money saving apps, guys, that you can load onto your phone with our unique codes, making you guys money. So stay tuned for that.
Cool. Okay, so we are ready to take a quick commercial break so we can come back and talk to Zachary. So we'll be right back with Zachary SAPodcastNetwork,
Love it.
Love
the
it.
founder of the San Antonio
Yes.
Podcast Network, right here on the San
So
Antonio
excited to see what Zach has to say.
Life Stuff Show, Gen X 99.1.
Okay, I needed to put that lower, but I didn't know if you were doing it or if I was doing it.
I want to see
Yeah,
if,
you need
and I,
to fix that.
well, I think it is
It's
because I
still
looked on here. I think it's still going, even though that just kind of dimmed.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
so
need to
But
move
I,
it.
but I
maybe
do
you need
want
to
to.
undone it.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to turn it a little
Yeah.
bit though.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't want to get too close to it. You don't want to get
Guys, so
too
you were here behind the scenes. Actually, we're having just a little bit of technical difficulties. Again, we apologize. We came out late today. And this is a total joke, but seriously, at first I was like, this is our first male person that we have brought to the show
Man
today.
person.
Man, that's just a joke. Zach knows that. But no, we started having like all kinds of issues. I was like, Linda, what's going on? But we did fix it. Things are fine. And we're just excited to be here another Tuesday with you guys. So if you do us a favor, if you are here live with us, hey, if you can give us some hearts, give us some likes, let us know that you guys are here. Definitely, who's liking? And hey, Stacy, is that Stacy? How you doing, girl? If you can share, that's the other thing that we ask from you guys, is to please share, our radio show. We are putting out some fantastic content, but no one's gonna know about it if you guys don't help us to share. We are a new show, right, Linda? We are a new show. We're really excited about it. And of course, we are growing organically, guys. We love that. Hey, if people want to hear us, they're going to come in and hear us. But it is helping a ton if you guys go and share us within your personal page, or if you're a part of a group that allows shares, hey, bring us in. Now, guys, again, we are here every single Tuesday from noon to 1 o'clock. Though, like I said, today we were a little bit late, so we're probably going to go over just a little bit because we want to make sure to give our guest, our special guest, Zachary, here today, special attention. We don't want to cut him short. He has a lot to say, and he has great content today. So super excited to have him here. So here he comes. He's going to have a seat. Let's see. Hopefully everything's working out for Zach. Is it working out for you, Zach?
I think so.
You're like, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I actually don't have too much experience doing the Facebook and Instagram lives. I've tried to make it a point lately to do a little more of them.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of talking to you a little bit before the show. It's just, that hasn't been my forte up to this point.
Yeah,
well,
you're gonna
just the audio, but I'm learning.
You're
I'm
learning. I love it. We're live now on Zach's.
Yeah,
Instagram. I
Oh no,
think.
I see. Oh, the words are covering you up.
Right.
Okay,
I'm on the camp. Yeah.
The words.
All right,
fans
so
are covering you up.
30 seconds. I'll put this low. I'll try to be better about that, Linda.
I like how noise sensitive in this. There it goes out.
All right, so
Okay, I'll do the welcome back.
yeah, you will. 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Okay, welcome back to the San Antonio Life Stuff Show here on Gen X 99.1. We are Brenda and Linda.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
And I'm Linda, and we are bringing you life stuff from San Antonio and the people who are making a difference in our city.
Woohoo! Yes,
like
ma'am.
Zachary, he is here, and he's going to tell us. We're going to ask him questions. He's going to tell us about what he does. So, Zachary,
what do you do?
Yeah, so guys, my name is Zachary Creator, like they mentioned. I am the founder and host of the San Antonio Podcast Network. I'm also a financial professional, help a lot of clients, help a lot of educators actually plan for retirement and set themselves up for the future. But of course, we're here to talk about the podcast. So I'm excited to talk to you guys. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, we're excited to have you here.
So, what would you like the radio audience to know about you as a podcaster? We're just going to talk about podcasts right now, if that's okay.
Sure. Since the podcast focuses on San Antonio, I want my listeners, and I think they know, the ones that listen to the podcast, they know that I'm from San Antonio. I'm born and raised here. I grew up here, and I kind of tell this short personal story all the time. But growing up in San Antonio, I didn't like the city. I didn't like it. I always felt like I wanted to leave here. We used to travel a lot. Both my parents were educators, so we used to travel a lot in the summers. And I just told myself, once I get out of high school, I am leaving. It was just so boring to me because I didn't know. I hadn't explored San Antonio.
There you go. Wow.
And so after graduating from UTSA, I took on a job at Frost Bank, working downtown. I kind of took the time at that point in my life to explore the city and really find what's out there, and my passion from that point on just grew for the city. And so I kind of tried to explain that in bringing on guests and the different topics I discuss on my podcast, just share my experiences and show the listeners how great of a city San Antonio really is.
Oh, that's cool. I'm not from here, so I always tell people I got here as fast as I could.
It's a hidden gem.
That's very interesting, though. That you say that. Like, I didn't like it much, but you're right. If you don't go out and explore, how are we ever going to find out like really what's out there? Or if someone comes to you and says, "Hey, this is a wonderful spot. Have you ever been there?" Like, you just can't react to it if you haven't. So it's great that you got out there. You were like, okay, what's out there? What beautiful, wonderful, exciting things does San Antonio have to offer? Turns out, like you said, we're a hidden gem.
Exactly. And I think people are finding it out, but hopefully we can kind of remain a hidden gem for a little longer at least.
Preserve it. So, Zachary, tell us, how did you get into podcasting?
Sure. So in late 2019, I left Frost Bank to become an independent advisor, independent agent, helping families, like I said, as a financial professional. But of course, we know 4 months later what happened, right?
Oh, wow.
COVID hit.
That's a whole
And it was difficult for me to get in front of clients, to get my face out there. A lot of times bringing in business meant going and giving presentations at schools and small businesses. I couldn't do that anymore.
Wow.
So I was like, how can I get
hard.
my face, my voice out there? I had always been a podcast listener at that point in time, maybe for 3 or 4 years. I love podcasts. I have a rotation of probably like 10 different shows that I listen to. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this is what I can do. I had a lot of ideas at the time. Should I do a finance podcast? What kind of podcast should I do? Sports, I'm a big sports fan.
There you go.
And I kind of just thought, you know what? What about a business podcast? And I looked around San Antonio. There were some business podcasts out there, but not really anything, of notoriety. And I was just like, well, let me try to start this. So that's kind of my introduction and how I thought of starting a podcast. Naively, I thought that I was going to be interviewing a lot of CEOs and executives of large companies, and that wasn't the case. Not many of them are going to answer emails, right, or even their assistants. So I kind of pivoted at that point. I said, you know what, let's focus on small businesses, maybe nonprofits, organizations that are really trying to amplify their own voice.
Right.
Let me be the amplifier of their voices and their mission, and their stories, right?
There you go. Yeah.
And so that's kind of the pivot I made, and that's when we started finding success.
Wonderful.
And so you just recently celebrated your 1-year anniversary.
Yeah, actually technically it was about 2 months ago. I think, the kind of formation of the idea, at least of the podcast, was probably in May of 2020. But I think June was when we actually released our first episode. But I mean, it's been a crazy year. The growth, I wasn't expecting that kind of growth. I was thinking, you know what, you will just have some friends and family listening, maybe some clients. But it definitely has grown
Grandma,
since then.
are you hearing, Grandma?
Out of pity, they're listening out of pity. No, they are not. Okay, so tell us about the process. How's that been from the beginning, and how's that evolved? And then, what did you experience through all that?
Sure. Well, in the beginning, like any podcaster, anyone that's tried to start a podcast, it's difficult. You don't really know not only the topic that you're going to cover, but are you going to have guests? And if you are, how can you get those guests on? Especially us, right? We're trying to get small business owners and people out in the business world. How are we going to get those people on? And so basically what I did is just kind of reach into my Rolodex of people that I knew. Who do I know that maybe owns a small business?
Right.
And, huge shout out to Lika Torline at In the Weeds Natural Skincare. My good friend Kat DeZone at Active Capital. She's an investor capitalist.
Nice.
And I kind of just asked them, hey, would you be willing to come on my podcast? I'm trying to start a podcast. And they were like, absolutely. They're always willing to support people. And so they came on.
That's wonderful.
I think I put a post out on Facebook. Any small business owners are looking to come on. That's how I came across Ashley Foz. At the time, she had Mission to Education. I love her. So that was a great interview. And so that's kind of how it was early on. But as you gain traction and gain followers and people start paying attention, especially on social media, they start reaching out to you.
Right. Hey, isn't that nice?
Right, yeah.
You're like,
hey, can we get on your show? We want to amplify. They saw
the value of what you were putting out.
Absolutely. And that's how we started seeing the early success. That's what we started noticing, at least.
Nice.
We had gotten an email, I think it was in October maybe, from the DeBerry Group, which is a marketing firm here in San Antonio, and they wanted us to have the pre-K for SA CEOs, executives to talk about their mission, because they were on the ballot coming up that November.
Oh, there you go.
So they wanted to reach a younger audience. They wanted to get out there.
Oh my God, you were it.
So that was like, they're reaching out to us.
Yeah,
that was the first kind of sign of success.
There you go.
Build it, and they will come.
Exactly.
Right?
Nice.
And so congratulations too, because you recently, I don't know, I have no sense of time, but you won the Best in the City podcast award.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Who was that with?
So that was with the San Antonio Magazine.
Okay.
Right, and so annually, I think they do it. I know the San Antonio Current does their own.
Right.
I don't know if My SA, I'm sure they do some kind of competition like that, but they do an annual, I guess you would say, competition where they try to do best of the city in different categories, different industries, and so honestly, you kind of have to campaign for yourself. I mean, hopefully you have some followers and listeners that kind of vote for you, but you kind of campaign for yourself. Reach out to those followers, your friends, your family. Hey, vote for us. And so it was February that they announced the winners. And I mean, I'm appreciative to them.
Right.
It's kind of free publicity. They hosted a nice event at the Whitney Museum for all the winners, so that was fun.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, hopefully you guys, if you're following me, you're gonna know I'm gonna be campaigning pretty soon. So I'm hoping for your vote.
When does that start?
So I think that starts around November. That's usually when they take submissions.
Okay.
December is when they do the voting. They announce the winners in February.
Cool.
Hey, your hard work and effort, you know what I mean? Like, just so much that you had put into it just really paid off. And I mean, we all want success, but oh my God, when it truly comes and sets in, I mean, what type of feeling is that? Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. Well, like
you
I
worked
said,
so hard for it.
Right. And kind of going back to that email that we had received about bringing on pre-K for SA. That's kind of it's benchmarks like that kind of told me like, okay, some of this hard work is paying off. Right. Yeah. I think a little later on, it was in maybe November. And it's funny that I'm talking to you, Linda, while saying this.
Oh, Linda.
While we're doing our interview with you, it's funny because I received an email.
There you go.
As I was, so for the listeners or followers who don't know, I interviewed Linda, of course, to talk about the Scooby Van on the podcast. Yeah. Definitely go check that episode out. It's an awesome interview with Linda. But when I was interviewing you, I literally received an email. I don't know why I remember this, but I received an email, and it was from Spectrum, like the Spectrum.
Nice.
Right? And they wanted to advertise with us.
Oh, wow.
They were looking for local podcasts, and again, I mean, those are moments like that, and I'm like, I thought it was like a spam email, right? Like what is this?
You didn't know, do I believe this?
Right. And they were just like, nope, here's a lump sum of money. We want our ad on your podcast. And I was like, hey, I'm all for it.
You're like, and you're number one.
It's moments like that really, just kind of show you, hey, you put in this hard work. Right. Now you're seeing some of the fruits of your labor.
That's
right.
I
mean, because people do. And I was just doing an interview with Donovan Thompson. Shout out to SATX Rated.
Nice.
And that's one of the largest influencers here in town.
Nice.
And he was kind of mentioning this. He made this point that a lot of people see the finished product.
Right.
And they think like, okay, I want to do that. That's maybe a little easy. I just take pictures.
Right.
Of it. And, we talk about influencers, but people see that finished product. They don't see the work that goes into
Right.
it. It takes a lot of work.
It
And
really
my
does.
girlfriend will attest to this, and hopefully
Your
she's
girlfriend's
watching.
trying to call in now,
But
right?
she'll attest to this. You know, there's late nights. I'm up till 1:30 in the morning, 2
Oh, yeah.
a.m. editing
I could
so
see
I can
that.
get an episode out. You know,
That's right.
and people don't see that side. They just see the cool pictures or they listen to the podcast.
Yeah, and that's just one podcast. So,
Right.
so tell us about the podcast network, because you're the podcast network.
Right,
you have
right.
one
So-
on one.
Nice.
Yeah, so early on, I did have a co-host, and I do appreciate the effort and time that she put in to help me get this podcast going. Originally, we were just the SA Talk podcast, but you know, it was harder. Myself, my girlfriend, we don't have any kids,
Yeah.
and I with my job, I can meet clients virtually. My co-host, she was a realtor, and so she had to be
Right.
on site showing homes.
Yes.
She had 2 kids, one on the
That's
way.
a job all on its own.
Right,
Just
right.
by
And so it
itself.
was hard for her to kind of set aside that time for this
Right.
podcast. And so, of course, I continued on the podcast, but
Right.
it had always been my mission to separate the podcast into 2 shows.
Right,
At the time, what we were doing in our first segment of the podcast was talking about current events.
right,
In the second segment, we were doing the interview,
There you
like
go.
we did with Linda.
right.
Well, the issue is that when people come across podcasts, and people know this that listen to multiple ones, they come across a podcast and they want to go back and listen to old episodes. Well, when they were doing that with our podcast, they were having to skip through the first 20 minutes because we were talking about events that were happening 3-4 months ago.
Oh, that's
And so I was like,
true.
we need to separate this because some of this is evergreen content that doesn't
Right.
matter what time period they listen, and some of it is old news the day it comes out. So that's kind of what I did. That was the reason behind the rebrand back in May of 2021, was separating it into an interview series
There you
and
go.
a talk show. So
So which one's which?
yeah, so the interview series is Searching for San Antonio. I kind of took the idea behind, I think there's a series on CNN called Searching for Italy, which is really cool to explore Italy. But the whole purpose is interviewing the wonderful small business owners, nonprofit leaders, and just people in general
Yeah.
here in San Antonio. In those episodes, you can kind of expect more of an interview, right? Just question and answers.
Right.
Okay. Whereas the talk show, which is still the SA Talk name, I wanted to carry on that name, is more of a discussion. So we're talking about things. You'll hear more of my voice, more of my opinions inserted, not so much in the interview series, but in that talk show, in SA Talk. So I bring guests on because I need different perspectives. That's important.
That's cool.
But yeah, you're going to get more of a discussion, not a
So what kind
Q&A.
of topics are on the talk show for those of our listeners and viewers who haven't seen that or heard of it?
Lately, it's been, sometimes there are a little bit of political discussion, but not so much because there's political podcasts out there. I know the Express News has their Puro Politics, which is a great podcast that I listen to. But, I try to stray away from that. What I try to do is topics surrounding maybe education.
Right.
I know during the pandemic, the digital divide was a huge topic.
True.
We talk about things like that. We also talk about the direction of the city. What,
Yeah.
are we going to become an Austin? And some of the negative things that can bring, right?
Right,
Or
right.
do we remain that hidden gem like we were
Right.
talking about earlier? I also had someone recently that works for an architecture firm. We talked about commercial development and what does that do for the neighborhoods that they sometimes build these developments
Yeah.
in. Increasing property taxes, things like that. Transportation. People that listen to my podcast know I have a huge with VIA being the only mass transportation option.
Right, they knew
we
what
have
they were
here.
doing.
Right. Hey, I just wish we had a
They didn't let
subway
anybody
system
else
here,
come in.
But anyways, I won't get into that. But the
Dig
point
that.
is, we have discussions like that
Those are
that
good
people that
discussions.
live here are kind of interested in having, or at least hearing.
Right, that's cool. So tell us about some of the cool guests that you've interviewed.
Well, yourself.
Hey,
I
Yourself,
agree. I
of
agree with
course,
that one.
Of course, and we're gonna have
That's
to
a
get
good
Brenda
one.
on at some point to talk about.
We'll leave
saving
now.
the
Let's
way.
go.
Shout out to April, of course,
Hey,
which
April.
you already do, Live in the South Side. I
Yahoo.
just did another episode with her recently on the
I
talk
love
show.
her, yeah.
And what was cool was that it was a year removed from my original
Isn't that
interview with her.
something?
So that was
Nice.
so cool to see the growth.
Like
right,
the
in both
growth
of
that
us.
she's had. Yeah,
Um,
she's done great.
One of the interviews that I enjoyed was with Thea Setterbo, who is the director of communications for Hemisphere
Oh, nice.
downtown. So she's awesome. I consider her a good friend now.
I love that.
I know a few months before that, I did an interview series with the CEO of Hemisphere,
Nice.
Andres Andujar, and hopefully I said that last name correctly. But that was an excellent one. The president of Palo Alto, Dr. Robert Garza,
Mm-hmm.
awesome, down-to-earth man. I mean,
Nice.
he just has done so much with Palo Alto. and he's reaping the benefits. I know they received their largest donation this past
Yeah,
year.
that's wonderful. They
in school
deserve
history.
it.
So awesome interviews like that. I mean, just
Right.
some wonderful people. And that's been so fun about doing this podcast. And I'm sure you guys can attest doing the radio shows. You just have so much fun bringing on these guests and hearing their stories.
Yeah, we really, really do. Like we said, we're still a new show, but oh my God, every episode has just been really fun. Then we do have some episodes where it's just, you know, Linda and I, and we have a blast. But you know what? We are in a great city. We have a lot that is going on in this city. And so there's always something new to talk about, you know, so
Yes.
definitely doing radio or podcast, what you're doing, it really does like fulfill us because first of all, I guess we just all have it in our heart, right? But it turned out to be just so much better than I even expected. So it's been great, yes.
So Zachary, tell us, we like to do the good, bad, and the ugly. So what is the, and I'll frame it in a nice way, but so what, for you,
We'll be
what's the
nice.
biggest reward that you get out of this? And what's the best part of doing what you do?
Partnering with organizations around San Antonio.
I love that answer.
And I know Linda and I had a conversation recently about how a lot of times, you know, especially people like us that have good in our hearts, we're trying to do good for the community.
Right.
We try to do our own thing. Like, okay, I'm going to do this for the community. I'm going to give back. I'm going to provide free books, right? You know, but what really works, what really does good for the city is when organizations like that come together
Right.
to do, because you can do so much more when you come together. And
You're
I
right
think
about
that's
that.
been so much, I think that's been fulfilling for myself is to partner up with great organizations to do things like that. I know with the Boys and Girls Club of San Antonio, Clara Guerrero is another good friend of mine that I met through interviewing her on the podcast. She's an awesome individual, and I know she set up a podcast workshop that I was able to do for the
Nice.
kids of two different
I love that.
Boys and Girls Club, one on the east side, one on the west side, and I was able to speak with them, teach them about podcasting, show them
how
how to
rewarding.
podcast.
Oh my
It's
God.
just so like awesome to be able to
But they
go
probably
and-
showed you something about podcasting.
right.
At their age.
Things like that. It's been so fulfilling, and just to hear the feedback, you know, I get from people, and again, that's kind of another benchmark for success that I've kind of gave to myself is hearing from people. I know there's a gentleman, his name is Chris. He actually is in the Biden administration, but he's from here in San Antonio.
Oh,
He went to
nice.
UTSA. He reached
What
out
the
to me
heck?
and said that he loves the podcast
Oh.
because it reminds him of home. Because
You're
he's living in
totally
Washington,
deserving.
D.C.
Well,
Totally,
Right.
totally
Listening to
deserving.
this. Hello.
It's things like that I just love hearing, you know,
That's
from people.
wonderful.
So
That's wonderful. Well, and and I second what you were saying, Zach, because even though I've been driving a spray painted Scooby van for 10 years, which is a long story, but the official nonprofit started last year, and while I tell people we give out free books to underserved kids, the actual mission is we bring the community together. And it's through literacy. So the whole goal here is not just Linda running around giving out books. It's to bring everybody together, which we've talked about that with the book buckets and things like that. So hopefully we'll be working on some of the stuff we've been talking about. in the
absolutely,
future.
stay
That's
tuned for that.
Yes. So we were going to ask you, what did you have coming up in the future? Who's coming up on your show? What's coming up? What you got going on?
Anything you can
Wow.
tell us, anything you want to share.
Yeah,
A
you know what?
secret.
That's a good question. Well, I can't release a name just yet, but
Okay.
I will have a new co-host
Oh,
coming soon.
well,
For
that's-
for which show?
For as of now, it's going to be just for the talk show, SA
Okay.
Talk. As far as the interview series, we're kind of thinking that through. Maybe we can do like an alternate, like I'll do one episode, maybe she'll host another episode. But it was important for
He
me.
just said she.
Well,
okay, so.
all right, yeah, okay, letting out some hints, right? Leaking some information. Excuse me, but no, it was really important to me, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast and to many of my friends that it was important to me to get a female's perspective on the podcast. Before my co-host was a female,
Right.
That was important to me, just adding a little different perspective. And then just also what was important was someone who's so excited to explore the city.
Yeah.
And this person is.
Right.
So I will say this is my other hint because I released it on a recent episode of SA Talk. This person is already a podcast host, so that's the other hint I'll drop. But that's coming soon, so
Let
stay
me write
tuned.
that down.
Definitely,
She's already
definitely look out for more
calling
information.
you later with
Wait.
my guests.
It sounds like a mystery, and I've got a mystery machine, so I'm on it.
I love that.
Okay, so we need to take another quick commercial break, and we will be right back. Don't go away, because we're going to come right back with Zach on the San Antonio Life Stuff Show here on Gen X 99.1. Get this thing off before the music blurs in my ears. Oh my God.
All right. Right, I was so much better.
That's
I
a
turned
lot
that
of
off before.
information. I mean, you've got so much to talk about.
I
just to
could,
try
and
to
that,
cram it in.
you know, it's funny because I've only been on a couple of other shows, including some podcasts, but I have to tell myself, as a podcaster, I can talk for forever. Like, I can just go on and on and on and on and on, so I have to tell myself, I need to stop.
Well, we have to remember, too, that there might be some people who've never even heard of you before. And so when you say something, they'll be like,
He's like, no, that's not happening.
Oh, well, when we bring you back, I need to ask you, how can people find you? Let me forget that. Slap me if I forget, okay? So.
I was trying to pull up my podcast schedule to see who is coming up.
Yeah.
To see if I could, plug them in, but, yeah.
I mean, you have time right now. We have 2 minutes and 22 seconds, so
Okay, so
whatever you want to
welcome
do.
back, and then we're going to ask.
Where are we at?
I changed things around. We're on page 4. So right here.
Okay, you're gonna come
Announce
on. You're
next
talking.
week. Well, hold on. Oh yeah, we got. So we're right here about pronounce. So what we're going to do is we're going to welcome here.
Okay.
We took our break too soon. So we're going to welcome there, and then we're going to talk about next week. But then we're going to ask Zach, how do we find you?
Okay.
Okay. And then we're going to thank our sponsors.
Okay, so we're gonna say, where do we find you, and then,
Well, next week's guest is April. And
okay,
then tune into the show, and then go get us on the Gen X app, and then ask Zach, how do we find you? Sorry, I got,
so it's down here at the bottom.
before we do, right here, ask Zach, and then we thank the sponsors.
Okay. Sounds amazing. All right, guys, so we know that you guys are still here with us on live. We appreciate that you guys are here. You know, again, we are just super blessed to have Zach. You have been wonderful. Oh, my goodness. And this hour is just like kind of flying by. And I do feel, because we have such an upbeat, positive, person with us here like Zach. But if you do us a favor, guys, and share this live. Like I said, that would be wonderful. Thank you for coming in and supporting. We always appreciate you guys. Again, we are here every Tuesday, guys, from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. It's rare, but it does happen, like today where we were a little bit late due to technical difficulties, but we zoomed right through that, and we couldn't wait to come out to you guys. So again, share. Thanks for being with us.
So we actually have to do the welcome back here, because we got to give our updates.
I'm gonna let you do all that.
Okay.
You just, wherever you want me to talk, just say, hey, Brenda, and I'll talk. Okay, so here we go. Let's do this. I'll put this nice and low.
With the schedule.
10, 8, 5.
All right, welcome back to the show. This is the San Antonio Life Stuff Show with Brenda and Linda here on Gen X 99.1. And we've been here with Zach today with
Hey,
the
Zach.
San Antonio
Woohoo.
Podcast Network. Zach's got some information to share with you, but before we do that, we wanted to give you quick updates. So for the Scooby Band, again, we'll be at the Rolling Oaks Mall this Saturday from 12 to 2, and we will be giving away 2 free Pogo passes.
Woohoo! Yes. Now that is what, $2,000
$2,000
worth of Pogo passes. So that is $1,000 for each pass.
Right, they're 2 different people, so you got a chance to
Two
win.
different people.
And of course, those books that you've been meaning to donate, throw them in your trunk, so that when you're driving by, you just car magically steers over there, and donate those books. And then also, not this week, but the following week, and I'll give you more details, we're going to be on a live show, Facebook live show with Once in a While, which is a nonprofit organization that goes into the schools and teaches about animals and things like that. So they're a wonderful group.
Nice.
So I'm
I'm excited to
about
watch that one.
Wow.
I interviewed Amanda recently for Once in a While.
Oh, really?
She's an awesome,
And I had to
so
go
energetic.
get a
Nice.
Hawaiian looking shirt.
Well,
She always
Should
rocks
I
the
go get
Hawaiian
one?
shirts.
I know, so I had to
love
get
it.
a Scooby Green Hawaiian shirt, so I'm all excited about that. So,
woohoo!
and then
Sounds good.
also I know that's going to be Wednesday or Thursday, and I apologize. We'll have something out there for everybody. But then the following Friday, next Friday,
Right.
we're going to be at the Twig bookstore.
Yes, we are. I'm excited about
I'm
that.
excited about that. And so
Where exactly is
Anastasia-
that for those that have never
it's
heard of
in
that?
the Pearl. So go to the Pearl.
Everybody
District.
knows where the Pearl is.
Pearl
though.
District, totally.
Hopefully.
Go
Hopefully.
in there and go to the Twig. They have story time every Friday at 10 with Miss Anastasia. But we have special permission to drive the Scooby van into the Pearl.
Woo! Yeah,
So
I'm excited about that.
I got good parking. And we're gonna park in front of the store, and so we've partnered with the Twig on some stuff like that, so we're excited about that.
They're wonderful.
Too. So that's coming up. Okay, so next week, real quick, our guest on our show will be April Montreal.
Nice,
You heard her
hey,
talked
April.
about earlier in the show.
Yeah.
She's coming back.
Excited she's coming
And
back.
we're gonna find out what she has going on. She's the editor.
What do you got, April? What do you got going on?
Live from the Southside magazine. And she's also one of our sponsors. So you don't want to miss the show. Again, that's Gen X 99.1, either on the radio or go ahead and get the Gen X app on iTunes, on the iTunes.
Yeah, it's absolutely free for
Okay.
you guys can take us
So
on the ball.
with that, we want to hear from Zach. So Zach,
What's
tell how do we find you? For somebody who's just hearing about you for the first time, how do they find you on the internet?
Sure thing. So if you want to find the podcast, we're on every major podcast platform: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Very nice.
You can find it on there. If you want to keep up with the podcast and follow us on social media, you can do so: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at SAPodNetwork. SA is in San Antonio, pod is in podcast, network at SAPodNetwork. Definitely stay tuned. Of course, I'm always sharing the episodes and information and pictures
Very
and
nice.
news in San Antonio, and of course, stay updated on there for the co-host.
If they can't find you, something's wrong, Zach.
Oh,
Something is wrong.
When are you going to announce the co-host?
So that will be announced probably in the next month or so. Don't have an exact date for that, but
You got to
definitely,
follow
you gotta
him
follow
to
for that
find
reason.
out, guys. He won't even
it's
tell
gonna be
us.
exciting. Yeah, and we have some awesome guests coming up. I think I'm scheduled out now until November on both shows.
Nice.
So some awesome people
That's a good
coming
one.
up, definitely. And then, of course, if you're interested in following my business, financial professional Twitter, you can find me on Twitter and Facebook
Oh, nice.
at Zach SB Advisor, ZACHESPE Advisor. I do my Tuesday tips, financial
Oh,
literacy
nice.
Fridays,
Okay.
posting motivational quotes, sharing information on retirement accounts, life
Wow,
insurance.
that's a lot of value
things
you're
like
putting
that.
out. Nice.
Right, so definitely give me a follow on there as well.
So for those of us who, can't keep track of time and I want to listen to your podcast, how can I get some kind of a notification? Do I go to the podcast channels and I can subscribe and then I get a bing and then
That's
there you
exactly
are?
what
Okay, so-
happens. So if you follow on, I think it's on Apple Podcasts, you follow, and I think, or you either subscribe or follow, and then on Spotify, it's follow. But once you do so, you get a notification to
There
your
you go.
phone
Okay.
once a new episode comes out.
All right, great.
Obviously, if you also follow the podcast on any of those social media platforms, you'll also see our new episode posts. I'm always posting on there as well. So definitely subscribe on there, follow on there. That's the best way to get notifications.
That's great. That's great.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
So again, we want to thank our sponsors real quick before we go. Gen X 99.1.
Thank you,
the
Gen X.
channel, for having us, and also Center of Advanced Wellness for their generous sponsorship. The center here offers it's a medical clinic, a full service medical clinic, and it's a med spa for all your health and beauty needs. One of the best parts that we love about it, there's a lot of good parts, is that if you don't have medical insurance, you can sign up if you're a single person for as little as $30 a month,
Right.
and each visit only costs you $10. And
Right.
for a family, that's about $150.
$150.
$150 for the whole family.
That's incredible.
Does it matter how many people in the family?
No.
Wow.
See, that's the thing. I
And
mean,
then-
that is wonderful.
And then a $10 visit. Right now, they're very busy with COVID testing and
Yeah, well, that is
Vaccinations.
another thing. If you guys are looking to be vaccinated, you can come here to Center of Advanced Wellness. And I say here because we're actually in the building. We're upstairs. We're kind of away, but we are in that same building here at 8723 Botts Lane.
which is off of Broadway, 410 and Broadway behind the airport, and you can't miss the building. It's a big giant building when you drive around the corner because there's a line of people waiting to get tested or
Well, there's a
vaccinated.
huge sign, and there's just they got their cars out there, Center of Advanced Wellness. But yeah, definitely they have a ton, and I mean a ton to offer, especially for that price.
So we also have My Travel Vibes Apparel. Thank you.
Woohoo! Yes, Rudy, thank you for all the
sexy
merch.
clothes. And Life in the South Side, April.
Hey, April.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Pogo Pass, which you've heard a little
Woo!
bit about that.
Pogo
which you
Pass.
hear a
Oh my
lot.
gosh.
So just join us when we're at the zoo doing our thing.
Well, and back in the day, which was only 2 months ago, we were like, oh my God, like it would be so nice to have sponsors. And then we're like, what the heck? So we know what you're talking about because different people reached out and we were like, you better believe we need you. Jump on board with us.
And their colors match.
Yeah,
So
Pogo
it's all
Pass.
good. Yeah,
That's
so we're
right.
going to be going to those venues like the Witty and the Zoo and Splash Town and all those places with the Scooby Band. So we're going to have a good time with that.
Yeah, we may even end up in Austin, because Pogo Pass
Oh,
is
that's
also
right.
in Austin.
Road trip.
So road trip.
It's easy to keep it weird when you're in a Scooby Band. Okay, so, but we want to thank Zach for being
Zach.
here.
Thank you guys. Thank you for
Hey,
having me.
any
I
last
appreciate
minute,
it.
something you want to say to the audience?
Just definitely give the podcast a listen. I think you'll really enjoy it. I think the people that have tuned in have found that they've really enjoyed it. Like I said earlier, gotten the great feedback. But just check out an episode, and I mean, you'll never run out of content. I put out episodes weekly, sometimes even twice a week. So
Wow, sounds wonderful.
Which is why you
Well,
don't sleep.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to tune in even more. The fact that you offer just so many platforms, really, it's going to be, up to us, like, what are we comfortable with? And, the notifications, that's cool that it'll allow us to see when you're on. So that's a good reminder.
Okay, so with that, we want to thank our behind the scenes viewers.
Thank you,
and
everybody.
our
Share,
listeners.
share.
And so we'll see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel on Gen X 99.1 here at the San Antonio Life Stuff Show.
All right, see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
bye.
Before that music turns on.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Do us a favor, share. Again, we are super excited to have Zach here today. Zach, run this way. Hold on. Run this way. Talk to our audience. Say hello.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. I love the setup here and talking to you guys. So, yeah.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.